Hey guys, well, I'm super excited for today's interview. It's the first interview of a series that I'm doing called Hot Home Summer, which are things that I'm going to be focusing on to make sure that every homeowner who's selling their house in 2022 gets top dollar for your house. Now, I know that what a lot of people are going to be thinking as well, we're in a hot sellers market. I'm already going to get top dollar, but there is a difference between getting top dollar and getting that extra 3 to 4 to even 5% more for your home. And in an environment where homes here in Southern California are selling in the mid sevens, eights, nines, and even beyond that, well, that 3, 4, 5% can mean the difference between an extra 30, 40, or $50,000. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on over the next few weeks with this series. And today I am super privileged to have one of the elite home staging designing company owners with me. With that said, I want to invite and welcome Wendy Leonard with Ohana Staging and Design. Wendy, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Wendy, you are very prominent in the South Bay. You do a lot of home staging and design. Tell me a little bit about how long you've been doing this. How did you guys start this, and how did you get into this?
Yeah, that's a long story, but I'm going to make it really short.
Sure.
I went to my cousin's wedding in Hawaii about 9 years ago,
Okay.
and my friend, who was one of the first home stagers in Hawaii, took me out for the day. We had lunch and all this kind of stuff, and then she goes, "I want to show you what I do." And she showed me a $3 million home in Hawaii Kai that she had staged, and she said, "You could totally do this, Wendy," because at the time I had just got laid off my teaching job. I have a bachelor's degree in art. I was a school teacher for with subbing and long term and all that, off and on, raising my kids about 20 years. And so she said, "Just you could totally do this. You're so creative," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Do what?" And she said, "It's called staging." And I went, "What's that?" And so she showed me how she got started. And so I came back home to Southern California and signed up for a class in Long Beach, and became accredited with accredited staging professionals. Barb Schwartz started staging the industry actually in the early 60s. She was a realtor. She saw a need and she started this whole industry. So I got trained under her. And then I started the business about 8 years ago. We now have a warehouse in Gardena that's just packed with inventory. And we've been doing this pretty successfully now for 8 years. My husband is my business partner, co-owner. Yep. He handles the logistics, the warehouse, and loading the truck and all the workers, and I handle the design side of it and the marketing.
Yep. And by the way, I just want to say I've had the pleasure of working with you guys in several projects, and both times my clients and myself, because one of those properties was a property that I was flipping, I was totally satisfied. You guys did an amazing job. So I can vouch for the quality of work that you guys do. So thank you for that. Wendy, how would you describe home staging? What is home staging? And fundamentally, what is that?
So every time a house goes on the market, it deserves to look its best. It's like if you were going to sell a car and you had someone to come look at your car, you wouldn't show it with bird crap on it and dirty and, wrap candy wrappers inside. You'd vacuum it, you'd polish it, you'd clean it and make it look sparkly new. And so the home being one of your largest investments in your life, you want to show it in its very best light, clean and ready for a potential buyer to feel like this is their home. Yep. So you want to make it look the best. You want to complement all the selling features of the house. You want to make those shine and stand out. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I love that. Yep. Now with design trends and just staging, do you have to continue to see what's happening in the market, or how do you adapt to trends that are going on around us? How do you stay up to date with all of that?
So I don't feel it's as current design trend driven as it is what fits the house. So
Okay.
if it's an older home and it's kind of traditional looking and you put modern furniture in there, it would make the house look older. So
Right.
what we do is we make the house a star. We complement the house. We if it's a very contemporary house, we put contemporary furniture in there. If it's a more traditional home, we match the light fixtures, the countertops, the flooring, the paint colors, the carpet. We make it look like it belongs there. And so there are some instances where maybe it is according to the current trends. For instance, right now, millennials are in the buyer's market, the 30
Correct.
to 40-year olds. And my daughters are in that age range, and my sons, and so their taste is very much like the millennial taste, which is like the mid-century modern style
Yeah.
that was in mid-century.
Right.
Now it's what they like, and there is a certain type of furniture that they like, a certain type of look that they like, and so when we're staging for that market, if the house uh, makes sense,
Yeah.
then we stage it with the mid-century furniture with the millennial decor, and
Got it.
it appeals to that age.
And is that more of like a less is more kind of
I always do
staging?
more. Oh, I always do less is more because clutter eats
Yeah.
equity. And
Right.
so even if you're using the person's furniture, you have to declutter. You have to make the room look its best, and clutter distracts from all the things in the room that are good. So yeah, clutter eats equity. You need to keep it simple and
Clean.
clean and
Yep.
classic and
Yep.
beautiful.
Yep. You brought up something that so there are cases where you stage, I guess, for the lack of a better word, older homes or homes that are not up to date, so to speak. Do you find yourself in doing some of those homes, and could
Mhm.
they also benefit from
Oh,
staging?
absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes homes have um, older fixtures with the
Yeah.
little, like the staircases might have the wrought iron staircase, or the fireplace might have like scrolls on it, carvings in it,
Yeah.
and they might have those like pillars in the kitchen and things like that. And so we pulled from the colors, like I said, in the home. And for instance, I did a house in Torrance. The fireplace was a brick red color, was really prominent. And so we staged the house with rusts and golds and greens, and it looked really beautiful. And we did more traditional furniture. I like to say I use transitional furniture. That's what it's called.
Okay.
It's between modern and traditional. It's transitional. So you can, by the way you dress it, you can make it look more traditional or you can make
Right.
it look more modern. And so that's what we use. And so we use like sofas with rolled arms and nail heads on it, and it looked really good. And one other thing I just want to bring up, we've had this happen many times where like just yesterday we staged a house that was completely green on the inside. The homeowner felt that was a trendy color, and she painted every single room inside the house green.
Okay.
And so when you're staging, you want to appeal to the masses, right?
Right.
And green is a pretty strong color, and you would think people might be turned off by it. So I remember another house we did years ago that was more on the lime green side, and the fireplace was forest green, and they didn't want to paint. They had just painted. So we staged it, and people asked the owner, "Did you have an interior designer come in and do this? It looks fantastic." Well, I
Mm.
picked the colors, and I brought them into the pictures and the pillows and all that stuff, and so it looked like it was on purpose.
Yes. Right.
So it looked like an interior designer did it. We did the same thing yesterday with that greenhouse. We tied all those green colors into the pictures and the pillows and the throws, and it looked fantastic.
Oh,
So,
good for you.
so we can help. Thank you. We can help with, well, my background in art and knowing color.
Right.
We can help make the house, like I said, the star.
Are there ever challenges where you're just like, no, it's not going to work? I mean, sorry to ask. I just.
No, there are challenges, but we make it work. No, we
You do
do
make
what
it work.
we have to do. If I have a not a very large warehouse, it's 3,000 square feet, but we've got racks going up to the ceiling, and it's a really
Okay.
high ceiling. We if we don't have it, I'll go buy it. Whatever I need to make it finish the house, I'll go get it. And so sometimes it's challenging, but we make it work.
Cool. Now, Wendy, do most homes have to be vacant in order for you to stage it, or
That's a good question. So our company at Ohana Stage Interiors, we offer different levels of service. So in the initial service, for some people, if it's an occupied property, is a consultation we call a redesign,
okay,
and it's a do-it-yourself project. So the owner or the realtor, whomever, would be doing the things that I suggest in the consultation. So
okay,
I'll come in for 2.5 hours. I have a worksheet that I made up because I was a former school teacher, and I have a packet that I give you that has all the information about staging, has a check sheet in there for you. And then I go room to room, and I write down on my worksheet what needs to be removed, what you keep, what you maybe have to purchase, if anything, maybe suggest where to get it, how much it's going to cost. I might draw diagrams that show arrangement of furniture. I've had realtors actually do it while we're talking. And many realtors that we work with offer this as part of their package. And they say, people ask them all the time, did you stage this property? And they'll say, no, they just did everything my stager said to do. And so that's the entry, and that's fairly inexpensive, $300.
okay,
And then we do a mixed media, which is, I just call it mixed media, where it's occupied, but if they don't have a lot of pets or small children, we can bring furniture into vacant rooms and stage those rooms. Or even if they have pets and small children, I could do, like, if I do the redesign and they say, I don't have time to do this, can you do this for me? Then I'll take that and I'll put the pictures up and the pillows and, those kind of things to help them with their own furniture, rearrange their own furniture. And unless it's, really destroyed, we can
right.
utilize furniture in the home.
That's a
And just,
great service, and I mean, again, um, because of photography, virtual tours,
Mhm.
video, and just the access that the consumer has to look at properties, something which is not a little thing, it's a big thing, but something so um, efficient and effective for somebody to do themselves. I mean, that's huge. I mean, it could that alone, that, let's just say hypothetically, at $300 could be 10x your investment
Sure.
easily, right? If not even more than that, right?
Yeah, and one other thing I want to mention is that a vacant room actually looks smaller than a staged room. So I had this experience when I was much younger doing, they call it mystery shopping. And so I would go into like they call it resort living
Mhm.
in Orange County. And I
Okay.
would act like a potential tenant. And the manager of the property would take me on a tour. And then I had certain objections I had to evaluate on how they overcame those objections. And I had to have two every time. So I went to this, they call it resort living. It was beautiful. And they showed me the model. And no, they showed me a vacant property. And my objection was, I can't fit all my furniture in here. It's too small. I can't put a king size bed in here, blah, blah, blah. They said, oh, wait till I show you the model. When you see the model, you see you can fit so much in here. And it's just mind blowing when you see the model. Is this the same dimensions as what you just showed me? Oh, yeah. See how you can fit so much in here? It really is spacious. It's so true. Because I believe that our brain cannot visually accurately see space. And so when we see a space, we think, oh, that's 5 feet. And really, it's 8 feet. And so
Yep.
when you put furniture in a vacant room, it actually looks larger
Yep.
than when it's vacant. So you would think vacant, oh, that's bigger. But actually, it visually looks smaller. And then a cluttered room, which is just full of stuff, that looks smaller too. So there's
Yeah.
a balance there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had many cases where uh, my buyers bought a home that was staged. And then when we do the final walkthrough and everything's gone, you could tell that the room was a little bit smaller than at least what we initially felt. Right. So
Uh-huh.
I
True.
totally feel you on that. Question for you. Do, do you think that, let's say it's a 5 bedroom, 3 bath house, is it recommended to stage the whole house, or could someone get away with just like a partial staging? Uh,
Sure. So we do that quite often. We do the
okay.
main living areas, the living room, dining room, kitchen, if there's a family room, and the main bedroom and the main bathroom, and leave the secondary bedrooms vacant
Yeah.
for economic purposes, for people who don't want to invest as much money in the staging. Many people like to stage every room in the home, because like this house that we just saw this morning, we're going to be staging it next week. The rooms are really small. And so we're going to make the smallest bedroom into an office, which is really popular now since the pandemic, to have a home office.
Yep.
And so we're going to stage the smallest bedroom as a home office, and then another bedroom as like a mother-in-law's quarters. It has a bathroom. It's like an ensuite, but it's a very oddly shaped room. So we want to make it look its best. And so we're staging every room in this 4-bedroom house. But then, like I said, many times people want that wow effect when they first walk in, and that's the main living areas, and then
Yep.
maybe the main bedroom and main bathroom.
Cool. Cool. Now, Wendy, what kind of feedback have you gotten from other agents in regards to the results of actually staging their home from a price perspective, right? Like, how, I know for myself, uh, not only was I able to get top dollar for my clients, in fact, you guys helped me with a property that was overbuild in a community where they didn't have. It was a 3,300 square foot house. I don't know if you remember that,
I
but it was a
remember.
3,300 square foot house in an
Yeah.
area where the probably the largest home was 1,500 square feet. Um, and I really thought it was going to be a challenge to sell it, and we were very fortunate to sell it probably within the first week. And we're not talking about right now when the market is hot. This was probably uh, about a year and a half ago, right
Mhm,
before like it got really hot.
mhm,
So for me, being able to get my clients top dollar and also sell it in a timely manner is
mhm,
extremely important.
mhm.
But what kind of feedback have you gotten from agents in regards to that point?
Right. So many times we have staged properties that have been on the market and sat vacant for a while. And like
Ah,
even in this market now, even this one that we just staged yesterday has been on the market for 2 months. And I don't know the exact details of to the reason, but we staged it yesterday, and they're having open house this weekend. I'm expecting her to get some offers this weekend. So many times we've staged houses that have been on the market, and they sell right away. My record is a loft in Long Beach. I don't know if you've seen the lofts with the pipes show on the ceiling,
oh
and
yeah, yeah, I love those.
one giant room with a
Yeah,
bathroom. And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
how do you break this thing up? And it
yeah.
was a 2-story, and it was on the market for 2.5 years, like 2 years and 4 months. And
Okay.
finally, one of the owners in the building said to the owner, "You better do something about this house, stage it and get it sold, because you're bringing down the value of our building, of our property." And so they called me. We staged it. It was a old Art Deco building in Long Beach, and we staged it Art Deco. It was stunning. And the owner said it looks like it belongs on a magazine cover. And within 2 weeks, she got the full price she was asking, and that
Wow.
was just amazing. And it was an short escrow. I think we destaged it in a month. So that's exceptional, 2.5 years. But she
Right.
had an area realtor who would come from Riverside and just sit there all weekend and do nothing. And so it was a lot of challenges to overcome, but it was a phenomenal outcome. And so likewise, on many occasions, that's happened here. And during the hot market, I've had realtors tell me that if you don't stage a property, you're leaving money on the table, even in this hot market. Because people say, well, why I don't have to stage it. It's going to sell the first weekend. Yeah, but for how much? Could you possibly get 50, 60, 70,000 more
Yep.
if you presented it, in its best light? And so that's what I've been told by many realtors that stage, is that a $5,000 investment in staging the property can yield 50,000 and up
Yep.
every single time. And I know houses are even, the market's hot. You've got a lot of offers and it's going for over asking, but it can even go over asking.
Correct.
A house that we staged in Torrance, they didn't do anything to fix it up. They cleaned the carpet and that was it. They didn't paint. They didn't change any of nothing. I mean, it was as is. And the house was pretty much, original. It sold for $214,000 over asking.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, what?
Yeah.
So he said, your staging made the difference, because it would have just looked like an old house if we hadn't staged it.
It's interesting you bring that up. I hadn't even thought of that. The fact that there are homes that stay on the market for a longer period of time, and then you guys come in and work your magic, and all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, boom. So, I mean, talk about a field research, right? Like, I mean, that you literally could tell that something like staging does work, and it works well. So,
but it pays off, I think, to do it first, though, because think of all the people you lost in the beginning, right? And so you can only make a first impression one time.
Yes. I'm huge on that. I think that I've waited sometimes 2-3 weeks until everything's to the best of that we can show it before we put it on the market. Because again, once it goes online, you can't take that back.
Yeah,
right? It's going to be very difficult. So,
that's
Wendy, how does an individual choose the right staging company? Like, what are sort of the things that they should be looking out for? I mean, obviously, I'm going to suggest go to ohanastaging.com, but how does somebody out there on the field, let's say somebody lives out of state, they're watching this and they're like, well, how do I know if I'm hiring the right person?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that all realtors are created equal?
No, absolutely not.
No. I mean, there's some that go over and above to get your property ready for sale, right? And there are some who'll say, well, I'm not going to do that for them. They can do that themselves. I'm just going to sell it. I'm just going to do that. And I think stagers are the same way. I mean, not every stager is created equal. We really care about the home being the star. Like we would take anything that's blocking the features. We don't put too much into it to clutter it up, but make it look really clean and classy. I think there was one time that more than one time, that I actually went in and staged it after it was staged by somebody else, because it just didn't look good. And I don't know exactly. I guess it would be look at their pictures, look at their references, look online at their before and after pictures. But yeah, I've gone in before and staged a property that was staged. This was like 8 years ago. It was one of our first homes, and it was a flip, and the tile, the flooring, the laminate was gray, the walls were gray, everything was white. They had the chrome fixtures with little bubbles in the glass and all this stuff. And the stager staged it with brown furniture and black and army green accents.
Yeah.
So they took it out and we brought in clean colors. It was right there in South Shores, and the background, the outside the window, was Catalina. And so we did light blues and greens and white and chrome and glass, and the place sold for $50,000 over asking. The buyer bought 3 rooms full of furniture. He wanted to look exactly like it was. He said, I know I'm paying too much, but I love it. I love it like it was. So I think you have to look, shop around and visit websites and look at the comments.
I forgot about that. People can actually buy the furniture, right? Like post.
Oh yeah, we sell practically everything.
Nice. What is the process, Wendy? Like, can you just kind of take me through the process of somebody that says, you know what, I want to stage my house? What's your process like?
So we will do an estimate. We'll
Okay.
go into the house, and my husband does the measurements. I take
Sure.
photos. We talk about design ideas. I'll come back and do a complimentary proposal. An estimate is complimentary also, and I put into the proposal a lot of time for design. I like to already have in my mind what we're going to be putting in there so that you know what you're getting for your money. And so I do a proposed inventory list, and and then we can talk about your budget, try to modify it if necessary. We can talk about staging some rooms instead of all of them, that kind of thing. And then when they actually accept the proposal, then we load the truck from our inventory. Maybe I'll have to go shop a little bit. We
Yep.
leave the warehouse at 8 in the morning, and we arrive to wherever we are. Even we stage sometimes really far, like Hacienda Heights
Okay.
and Glendale and Pasadena. But we get there first thing, and then we leave the warehouse at 8, and we're done about noon or 1 or
Yep.
2
Yep.
at the latest. That would only be if we had to go back and get something we forgot or something like that. But we're usually done with staging about 3 or 4 hours. It's
Okay.
in there for 90 days. And if the contract will give a price for if it goes over 90 days. So there's an extension price. With the market the way it is now, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
not
Right.
90
Yeah.
days. And there's no refund if it's staged. I mean, if it sells before that, we destage as well. That price is all paid up front.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like if it sells quickly after the staging, we've done our job
Of course.
and
Yep.
we got the thing sold. But if it should take a little bit longer, we rent our inventory out for a per day price or per month price. I don't charge again for the labor, the staging and destaging fee. That's all paid up front, and I don't
Yeah.
charge that anymore. It's just the rental of the inventory.
Okay. All right. Now, because you do put a lot of quality inventory into the homes, are you guys insured for that kind of stuff? Like, if, let's say I'm having an open house and all of a sudden, some kids walk in and they just
Right.
destroy the place or something.
Well, we are insured for up to $1 million with Hartford.
Okay.
And the only times I've had to use it is twice my houses were robbed, and
Oh,
they cleaned out one cleaned out all the pictures off the wall. And one took mirrors and small pieces of furniture, and yeah, so those are the only times I ever had to use it.
okay, cool. And lastly, Wendy, what is the average investment that a homeowner makes on staging? I mean, ballpark, or how do you guys approach that?
Okay, so I explained to you the redesign and then the mixed
Right.
media. If we stage a vacant home, our minimum is $3,000, and that
Okay.
usually covers the living room, dining room, kitchen, main bedroom, main bathroom.
Okay.
If you add in a family room, outdoor furniture, and so on, then the price will go up. So we're staging a house next week that is 4 bedrooms, has a living room, family room, a patio, but we're not putting patio furniture because they have their own patio furniture, and it's about $5,500 for
Nice.
that.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, Wendy, you've been so grateful. I'm so grateful that you've answered all these questions. I think it brings a lot of clarity for people that are, maybe potentially thinking about putting their home on the market. And I hope they can see the value in investing in getting their home staged. I really think that, again, going back to, if you're going to put your best foot forward, make sure it shows at its best. Any last words that you want to share? How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way for them to?
Our website is ohanastaging.com.
Okay. Cool.
And my phone number is 909-273-1375. We're available we stage all over Southern California.
Yep.
My husband says if they'll pay us, we'll go. So
Yes. And I just want to say that if you, uh, she is part of my team, and if you decide to list your home with our team, she comes along with that.
yeah,
So, that's an added value to everyone. So fantastic. Well, Wendy, I want to say thank you, and please say hello to Lamont. And
I,
I obviously always wish you a ton of success. And I look forward to our next project together. Thank
yes,
you.
and thank you for having me, Philip. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.